I'm very grateful for being here and you being here and everybody else.
We're all in this together, aren't we?
Thank you. I'll start off with this. I tend to fluctuate between confidence, basically almost knowing, to a state of internal questioning. I feel as if I'm canceling my intentions.
You are?
I am questioning if I'm following the best path.
You aren't?
The highest truth. I see and believe in the process, and that reveals to me the answer behind the question, behind the question, behind the question. So what I'm asking, is it the end to focus on, or to let the details work themselves out?
Well, we love the way you've put these words together. Focus upon any part along the way that feels good to you while you do it. Sometimes it's the end, sometimes it's the beginning. In other words, if you set your desire for something you really don't believe, and then you just keep forcing yourself to imagine it even though you really don't believe it, you just sort of compound the contradiction within you. So the rule of thumb that we would encourage is be as specific as you can be and still feel good. We actually just answered your question before you even ask it, as we said, if you will take the time to align with who you are already believes. And when you're in alignment with who you are, the doubt fades away. But if you, from a doubting place, try to get less doubting, it usually doesn't work out very well. That's why meditation is such a wonderful tool, because when you align with who you are less doubtful. Do you know that when you awaken from a nap, you are more trusting than after you've been driving through traffic? Do you know that after you meditate, you are more believing that you can be or do or have whatever you're wanting than even when you first wake up in the morning? Do you know that you are more in alignment with who you are when you first wake up than at the end of a long day? In other words, you just get so that you can feel the measures or the degrees of your alignment. And then once you make a conscious association in your degree of alignment, then we would encourage you to just milk the aligning moments and sort of ignore the ones that aren't. Esther will say to Jerry, if she is in a misaligned moment, she'll say, ignore me. Ignore me. Hey, you over there, ignore me. Ignore me. But what she, which, of course, he was already doing his best. But what she is acknowledging is, don't keep talking to me about this, because it's just going to become more. It's just going to become more. And when she is in a playful mood, or when he is in a playful mood, that's when they sort of gravitate to one another like moths to a flame. In other words, you just get so that you recognize your moments of connection and your moments of not connection, and you just want to milk the connection and do your best to ignore the not connection. Yes.
Okay, I have my dreams of what I'd like to create. Is it just a matter of time or a matter of focus?
Well, it is only about focus, because the time is only about the crevasse between what you want and your belief about it. And so time really is such an impossible thing to measure. Do you know, somebody could really, really want something and not be a vibrational match to it, or worry about it not coming and hold it apart from them. In other words, they take a step forward and so does it. They take a step forward and so does it. And they say, man, I've been walking a very long journey. Why don't I catch up with it? And we say, because the distance between your vibration and the vibration of your desire remains the same. So you say, well, how can I close that gap? And we say, it's not a time gap and it's not a distance gap. It's a vibrational gap. It's a how I feel gap. And so you just have to not care that you don't have it. And you say, well, how does that fit in with goal setting? Aren't I supposed to want what I want? And we say, well, you've already wanted it. Step 1 has already taken place. Source has already lined it up. Step 2 has already taken place. Now you got to get out of the way of it. And so you have to ask yourself, is lamenting the fact that it hasn't come yet really the best way of feeling good about it? Or is pretending it's coming, or imagining how good it will be when it gets there? And so when you talk about dreaming, think about it. Is it a dream you want to dream? And so it's my dream, you say. And we say, well, let's distinguish between a dream and a goal. It's my goal means it's an objective I hope to achieve. It's my dream, we would mean more softly, it's what I fantasize around. It's what I use as my excuse to feel good. I dream it. I dream it and I pretend it. I soften my energy with it. I bring myself interest about it. Have you ever awakened from a dream that you liked, and so you want to keep dreaming it? You want to sort of tap back into it and smell it some more, feel it some more? Well, that's the way we want your dreams to feel. We want you to go there with this expectation of it being pleasurable to you, so that you want to go there, not because you need to go there to make it become manifest, but because it's pleasurable to go there. When it's pleasurable to go there, pleasurable enough that you go there because it's pleasurable to go there, then the manifestation happens. We keep coming around to this, don't we? We say, dream it because it feels good, and then it will happen. And you say, it will happen. It will happen. So this thing that I want to happen that hasn't happened, if I dream it, the thing that hasn't happened will happen. And we say, now you've just messed it all up. But I'm not there and I want to be there. So if I dream it, I can make it be there. We say, yes, but if you could dream it so that you're satisfying yourself even though it's not there, then vibrationally it is there. And when vibrationally it is there, then it has to come there. You say, so this thing that hasn't come will come if I play this silly game and I align my energy. And we say, we want you to let your goals be something that you dream around, but not something that you are clamoring to complete from an attitude of incompletion in not having completed them. The most significant thing that we can feel happens with physical friends on this particular topic is if we can convince you that you are eternally incomplete. And there's something about finally accepting that you're eternally incomplete that makes the completion of this goal less urgent. And when the completion of this goal is less urgent, then it happens. So you soften it by saying things like, all in good time, and I'm right on schedule, and it is coming, and it's a done deal. And I love the idea of it. And as with so many things, I'm enjoying the idea of it. And I know I'll throw a big party for about 20 seconds once I achieve it. But the idea of it is really where I'm getting my life force now. The idea of it is what is giving me life. We're going to take a segment of refreshment, and then we'll finish the last bit of your list when we return.
Thank you.
Good time for it.
Okay.
We are complete. And are you refreshed? Yes. Good. You're ready to continue?
Yes, thank you. My next question
He's going to push your button. There you are.
All right. My button, good. It's a lot different sitting here than back there. But the question I had was...
That's accurate, because here you have the full force of the entire universe focused upon you.
Okay, my question is this. I'm truly, truly grateful for my life. Every aspect. I can't say I can't imagine anymore, but I'm just saying at this moment, it is great. What I envision in the future, what I'm desirous of a different future, a vastly different future. And I am very happy right now. What I'm asking is, how do I move through this? I am grateful, but there's this big gap to another area that I'd like to do. I'm staying in the present moment.
Well, that gap will get you every time.
Yeah.
Because and the but will get you every time. But when you say, I'm joyful and, that's quite different. When you say, I'm joyful but, and we're not saying that the word makes the difference. We're saying that the way you feel, which prompts the word.
Right.
There's a difference between saying, I'm so joyful and I know I'm going to expand and I know that more is coming to me and I'm enjoying where I am. As something that may help is, as you look to those who are now achievers of what you want, and you listen to them talking about their early life, there's something delicious about those hungry years. And by hungry, we mean still seeking it. Do you know the difference, that simple difference between sitting down to a meal when you're hungry and sitting down to a meal when you're not? It's a similar experience, but it's a very different experience. And don't you love being a little hungry? And don't you not like being too hungry? Right. Isn't there a balance in there always, you see?
So that's where I feel like I'm at. I'm at a good balance. and I don't want to come into it with lack because my life is abundant. There's that envision of the future, which kind of like I'm stepping through. I'm on step 2, 3, 4, but I could see 10, and I'd like to be there, but I'm still enjoying where I'm at right now.
Well, there's a little contradiction in all of that, because we know, in other words, it sounds good, but vibrationally, here is the attitude that you're wanting to foster. I'm never going to get it done, and where I am right now is being fun. You know how that feeling of being interested in something, just that soft difference. You're wanting something to watch on television, and you find it mostly being a sort of void that doesn't feel all that good. And then you realize that something that's coming on in 5 minutes is something you've been very interested in. That's a good moment, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And or you're having a conversation with someone, and suddenly you realize that they know a whole lot about something that you've been wanting to know about. And suddenly here's this gold mine for you to explore of information. That's a really good moment. And so it's those kinds of moments. We want you to start looking with that feeling of interest. The most delicious feeling in all of the world is to be in that state of satisfaction that you describe, with new things on the burner, so to speak. So there's new things you're interested in that keen awareness place that it's unfolding. It's unfolding. It's sort of like the surfers would tell you, it's that pointed, brief moment of feeling the wave come up behind, and that recognition that here's the ride I've been waiting for. It's that feeling. And so there's a lot of paddling and a lot of planning, all in anticipation of that. And often as much satisfaction in the anticipation of that as in that, you see. So you're doing just fine. Just soften the gap by repeating how comfortable you are as you continue to talk about what you want. Again, we would talk about what we desire as often as we can, always feeling if the conversation is life-giving or life-draining. When you talk about something that you want from an attitude of believing it and aligning with it, it's fascinating to you. You just find yourself wanting to talk about it, and pieces of it keep showing up everywhere. When you're talking about something that you want from a place of not anticipating it, then it's a little annoying, it's sort of frustrating, it doesn't feel all that good.
It's kind of like I'm reading if you ever read the cartoon strips, I'm going strip by strip, and I'm enjoying each box, but I'm always skipping to the last box to find out what happened.
Well, how unfortunate for you. We're just playing with you. In other words, you get to decide how fast you go, but we would just savor a little more.
Okay.
A cartoon strip is hardly as satisfying as a segment of your life. Okay. Most of the cartoon strips aren't, you can't utilize the analogy very effectively because they just exist for the end. In other words, it's like they've decided the end and then they just fill in the rest. And there's a part of you that knows that, but that's not what your creation, well, maybe it is. You decide the end so that you will have the excuse of the journey.
Right.
So the perfect cartoon strip would have a really exhilarating ending that's almost as good as the journey along the way. The perfect cartoon strip, if you want the analogy to be proportionate to your life, would be you are interested in the end, and that keeps you going, but it's an endless strip, and in every frame there is something to surprise you and stimulate you and titillate you and interest you. A nugget in every one, not blah, 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 ha-ha.
Yeah. Very good, thank you. I know there can be